Avi Meyers, Northtown Neighborhood News Magazine, a presentation of Sonny Hirsch and myself. NTNM on the web, caps24.org for community policing. And speaking of YouTube, and I'll get to that in a minute, I want to introduce you to a state rep candidate in the 26th district running Republican, of all things, in an interesting area, and a very interesting guy, and that's Coby Hakalir. How are you?
Good, Avi. How are you? Good to be back.
Good. First of all, thank you very much. And speaking of YouTube, you set your interview, which is really very well watched considering how short a time it's been on, has gotten more likes from people than any other interview we've done this year.
Wow. I did not know that. That's great.
Yeah, no, it's really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, usually we'll get like 1 or 2 or something like that. I think you're up to 5 or 6 already.
All right. Well, we'll try to double that with this one.
No, that sounds good to me.
Reach for the stars.
No, you have a definite, I could see you have a definite following on the web. There's no question about it. I see you on Facebook all the time. We talk about deep things like the Sears Tower, or the Willis Tower, or whatever it's called.
Or the Yankees signed, right?
Oh, that was good, as a matter of fact. Yeah, no, that was a big deal. You're originally from New York, I take it.
I am. I'm originally a New Yorker. I've been in Chicago 14 years. So I'm a Cubs season ticket holder, but I do follow the Yankees still very closely. So.
Yeah, no, listen, it's funny because with the exception of Mickey Mantle, that's always the team I love to hate.
Yeah, so I have the best of both worlds because, while I suffer through the Cubs, I get to see the Yankees win one every once in a while. So it's a nice position to be in.
And actually, they win a little more than once in a while.
Well,
so.
The last 10 years, I think we've won one. But yeah, so I'm hoping the Cubs can get there, and then I'll be the guy in the crowd that actually knows what to do when a team wins a World Series.
Yeah, that's about right, the guy in the crowd. As a matter of fact, I've got a hat somebody gave me. As a matter of fact, a frequent guest on the show, Jim Nally, gave me, that says Chicago Cubs World Champions 1908.
Is it original?
It is actually, no, it's an officially issued Major League Baseball hat.
Yeah, well, hopefully we'll change that, and I do like what the Cubs are doing. And what the Cubs did took real change.
Yeah.
Or, what they're trying to do takes real change and takes real pain, and I'm hoping to bring that same theme to the state of Illinois.
Yeah, you know what? I hope so. And by the way, we
How's
can talk.
that for a segue?
I'm a very big fan of the farm system and what they're doing and how they're drafting.
Yeah.
But let's go into the segue and let's talk about what the state of Illinois needs to change.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a lot of things. And the last time I was here on the show, we talked about the need to pass, or something the Democrats had talked about a long time, was passing the Gay Marriage Act and passing some sort of pension reform. And since that time, they've managed to pass both. One, something that they should take, some measure of pride in, even though they could have passed it 10 years earlier in the Gay Marriage Act, and the other one being the pension reform, which was basically another measure by the Democrats to kind of help recapture the governor's mansion in the next election, but didn't really do anything. If you think about it, it brought our levels of pension deficit from $100 billion to $80 billion, which is where we were in 2011. So it impacted some people greatly who are the receivers of that public pension. And it also kept our state income tax pretty much at the same levels it's at, instead of it being rolled back. So in essence, it didn't really do anything other than create a good PR buzz for a couple of days and make it look like a government that was actually effective, whereas it was just another law that doesn't really do anything to help the state and just puts us right back where we were anyway.
No, it sounds right to me from what I've been able to tell from it. It sounds to me like the next crisis is not going to be that far off.
No, I mean, right now, all they did was roll us back to 2011. And if you want to talk about a party that calls itself the Progressive Party, and the best you can do is roll us back 2 years, that doesn't seem like progress to me.
You know what? I was looking at a year-by-year chart of how the pension, of what percentage of the pension was funded over the years. And in 2003, as Rod Blagojevich was elected, there was 73% funding. Mm-hmm. And under Blagojevich and now Pat Quinn, it's fallen below 50%, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And there's a reason. Well, as a matter of fact, you know what? I was seeing somebody on Facebook, ripping the state of Illinois and the Democratic Party because we're rated 48th out of 50 states. But frankly, I don't know how we got that high, because most places rate us 49th or 50th, depending on California.
Yeah, well, I mean, it depends on whether you're talking about economic growth or job creation. Economic growth, we're dead 50th. Job creation, we're 48th. And that's only because we still have enough of corporations that do come to downtown Chicago that do bring some employees with them. But aside from that, I mean, those are, middle class to upper middle class jobs. Those are not the jobs that we really need in order to bring back the $500,000 jobs that we lost over the last 10 years. And with population adjustment, I think we need to gain about 655,000 jobs to replace that. So we're far behind the 8 ball in terms of that, and we've not done anything in this state to advance the cause and to help bring corporations back, to help bring employment back, to help bring incentives for corporations to come here. We're still far behind what other states have done, and we're going to remain there as long as people keep putting the same people back in office who are not accountable and are passing the same laws that don't help advance our cause, that don't help us get to the next level, and keep us really as almost a third world state. I mean, I think that's probably a bad thing to say, but you know, that's kind of where we're at.
Well, our financial rating is the same as, or worse than some third world countries. Yeah. And the fact is that business climate-wise, we are the best thing that could happen to Indiana, Wisconsin, and Iowa, because the laws there are so much more favorable than they are in Illinois for business. People will just move slightly across the border to have access to Illinois, Chicago area, and but they don't, you know, it's a much better business climate almost anywhere else.
Yeah, well, our neighboring states have the luxury, number one, of having a two-party system in that state. And so you generally do have progress when you have a two-party system, because when you have a two-party system, whether you have Democrats elected more or whether you have Republicans elected more, but what you do have is you have accountability. You have the fear of losing the job amongst the politicians. And when that fear is there, they tend to actually do things that are progressive in the state, whether it's on the Republican agenda or Democrat agenda, but people have the power to choose, and they generally make the right choices when they have a choice. The other thing you have, especially in somewhere like Michigan, you have a public pension system that's invested in a private entity in a 401k as opposed to publicly funded. And you have things like that in our neighboring Midwestern states where you have laws that are actually intended to promote business, to reduce debt, to reduce taxes, and to entice businesses to come and grow and stay there for a long time. And you don't have ex-governors in jail.
Yeah, we've had quite a few of those, as a matter of fact. I think there's 4 during my lifetime that have you know, that have been in jail and counting.
Yeah, we definitely lead the league, and we lead the league in a lot of wrong categories.
No, that's for sure. Not to mention the highest taxes on this and the highest taxes on that, which are why people leave the city, leave the county, in order to do things. Not to mention leave the state. So you've been pressing the flesh. You've been meeting people.
Yeah, we you know, one of the nice things is we just recently filed our petitions with the Board of Elections in Springfield. We went down to Springfield and did that. I'm very proud to say that we filed more than twice the minimum required signatures to get on the ballot. So we were actually able to show that there is a groundswell of support for our campaign. We've been knocking on doors, meeting voters, going to community meetings, and you know, I think I said it the last time I was here, and I'll say it again. There's definitely a feeling of frustration and anger amongst the electorate. And people do want to see change. They do want to see somebody out there fighting for them. They're tired of not knowing who their elected officials are because they're never out there meeting with them, talking to them, listening to them. And what I've learned is that so much about politics, whether you're on the aldermanic level or the state representative level or the state senate level, is that it's a lot about listening. It's a lot about listening to what people want, what they're hoping for, what they're angry about, and then taking that information and representing those people and saying, this is what my constituents care about and this is what we need to change. And we've done a terrible job of that in Illinois, and that's why we're at where we're at.
No, I don't think there's any question about it, and a terrible job would be an improvement over what's happened, actually. It's beneath contempt. It just really is. It's unreal. If people want to check out your website?
Yes, can I give the name of the website?
Absolutely.
Okay, yeah, it's www.friendsofcoby.com. So that's C-O-B-Y, friendsofcoby.com.
And, you know, I'll tell you this much. I can see myself through things like Facebook and through how many watches you're getting on YouTube, you know, that you've got some very serious energy going into your campaign. And there's definitely, you're definitely a popular guy.
Well, we're working hard, and with support from people like you, Avi, and you know, it's been a really nice run so far, and I'm looking forward to the next 11 months till the November election.
Well, I want to thank you very much, and good luck in the election, which isn't quite in progress, but soon enough.
Yeah, thank you.
Coby Hakalir, thank you.
Thank you.